Hello everybody and welcome back to the Game of Thrones AI Free-For-All Deathmatch series. This is part 7. Again, quick apologies on the slow, upload rate of this series. Unfortunately, I am currently in Marseille for about 7 days, and the upload speed here is even more abysmal than my upload speeds back at home. So, again, I do apologize. This episode will probably come out 2 or 3 days after I've recorded it due to the fact that one video takes about 2 or 3 days to upload here. So, Again, I apologize, and as a result, this video will be about 20 minutes, which is about 10 minutes less than most of our videos in this series. So, with that out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about what happened in the last episode as a quick recap. In the last episode, again, the war between Robb Stark, King of the North, and Balon Greyjoy, King of the Iron Islands, is still in full swing. The previous, Greyjoy possession of the Ten Towers has been captured by Robb Stark, who is seeking to unite the North underneath the banners of the Starks. Also of particular note is that the Tullys of the Riverlands have been decimated in the previous episode. They have lost most of their holdings. I believe they had 5 or 6 holdings in central Westeros, but a combination of the Martells of Highgarden, or rather the Tyrells of Highgarden, if I do remember correctly. Yeah. Tyrells, also led by Renly Baratheon as well, and even Peter Baelish from the northeast. There was a 3-nation coalition that basically just decimated the Riverlands. So the Tullys are basically on the decline at this point in time. Also of particular note is that Renly Baratheon and the King of Dorne, I believe his name is, Dorne of Dorne, have signed a peace treaty. So now we have some peace here in the south. But that being said, there is still war, I believe, between the North, led by Robb Stark again, and Lord Greyjoy of the Iron Islands. Another war of particular note, I'm going to go ahead and pull up our diplomacy overview really fast, just to double check, because we have one more war that I've forgotten about. Right, so Renly Baratheon is still at war with the Tullys of the Riverlands. They, of course, have taken back their city of Haystack Hall, which was, once their territory and then ransacked by the Tullys. They have now reclaimed the territory. And of particular note, in the southwest is the Tully city of Seaguard, which is kind of clinging on tenaciously against Renly Baratheon's forces, which are now, for the most part, depleted. So, with that being said, and with that kind of backdrop out of the way, let's go ahead and begin where we left off. Again, a lot of things have happened in the last episode, and of course, there are a few nations that are just clinging on to their life, including the Baratheons, Renly Baratheon, I should say, and also Stannis Baratheon, who are both incredibly weak. And also over here in the west, the Lannisters, who are also clinging on with their 2 cities. So, again, a lot has happened. Let's go ahead and continue right where we left off and go ahead and hit next turn. Right, so now that we've gone ahead and ended our turn, we're going to go ahead and look to see if anybody is still fighting. Again, I believe the city of Seaguard will be able to kind of cling on tenaciously over here, right outside of the Baratheon, or rather the Renly Baratheon capital of the Storm's End. And to avoid ambiguity, I think I'm just going to refer to this as the Stormlands, and these guys over here as Dragonstone, just because there's 2 Baratheon households, and it's incredibly confusing. Of particular note in the north, Peter Baelish has a very, very large military contingent outside of King's Landing. I'll be interested in seeing. I'm interested in seeing where exactly these units are going to be sent, because Peter Baelish is currently at peace. The Vale is currently at peace, so we'll have to see what happens. And of course, down here in the south, Dorne is massing units outside of Renly Baratheon's Stormlands as well. So this is going to be an interesting development this episode. We're probably going to see a renewal of conflict. And over here in the north, I don't want to abandon and neglect our northern campaign over here. It looks like the last Greyjoy possession in the north, which is Lordsport, is about to be taken over by Robb Stark. Let's go ahead and see this in glorious real-time combat here as we end our turn. Right, so Robb Stark has taken the city of Lordsport for himself. Greyjoy, the Balon Greyjoy's domain has been reduced to Pike, which is most unfortunate for them. Of course, their only claim to fame at this point is being the capital city of the Drowned God religion, which boasts no followers. Or, well, no, it boasts one other follower in Lord's Port, which will more than likely soon be eliminated by the religion of the old gods. Right, so as I was saying earlier, I guess, amassed units of Petyr Baelish were preparing for a war, and in this case, they are prepared to take over Renly Baratheon's domains in Stormlands. We'll see if they are able to. I guess this is kind of a prelude up into the point where Renly Baratheon is kicked off of Westeros, which is most unfortunate for those of you who are supporting the Stormlands in this particular series. Right, so as we can see, we're going to zoom up over here really quick. The city of Haystack Hall is falling really fast, dropping incredibly fast. We see some siege units, some mountain knights, led by, of course, Petyr Baelish of the Vale. I don't really know what the mountain knights do. Perhaps they could cross the mountains. And in a very troll move, and I have to say an incredibly troll move, Renly Baratheon has pieced out with the Tullys by giving them Haystack Hall, which was in the process of being completely annihilated by Petyr Baelish. So basically, you know, Renly Baratheon knew that his time was near and that Haystack Hall was going to fall, and rather allowing Petyr Baelish to take this territory for, you know, his domain, they have decided to cede it back into the Tullys' hands. We'll have to see if this bold strategy pays off, but I don't think Petyr Baelish is going to give up on his siege of Renly Baratheon's Stormlands over here in the capital of Storm's End. We'll have to see if this changes things. Probably will. And of particular note is that Renly Baratheon has now just decided to adapt the religion of the many-faced god, which I believe in the TV show and the book series is a religion that's celebrated in Pentos, or at least some of the people there, I guess, worship the many-faced god. Of course, this god, the followers of this god, I believe, are a group of, like, assassins of some sort that can change their faces. Again, I don't know a lot of the lore of A Song of Ice and Fire, but I do know that one of the main characters in the book and the TV show follows kind of around Arya, and he helps her out basically after she sets him free. He is a member of, I guess, this group of exclusive assassins who worship the many-faced gods. So it's interesting to see this religion kind of being birthed here in Renly Baratheon's capital. We'll have to see how that pays off for him. Of also particular note, after basically ceding the city of Haystack Hall to Petyr Baelish, or rather to the Tullys, I should say, Petyr Baelish has been unable really to mount an effective offensive against Renly Baratheon. It seems like Renly Baratheon's strategy now is to surround himself with foreign cities so that people have to get, you know, open military access to even access and invade his homeland. And I just don't see it happening, to be quite honest with you guys. So also of note, Petyr Baelish has just made peace with Renly Baratheon after they've realized they were not able to snipe Haystack Hall, and the Tullys are in a more powerful position now as well as a result of this. So we'll have to see how that goes. Of course, the Tullys have kind of like a zigzagging of territories across Westeros, kind of like a Z. And Olenna of the House Martell, or Tyrell, you know, I really have confused the last name of this house just because they're so incredibly insignificant. Again, in the book and the TV show. I mean, I guess maybe some of you guys really, like, you know, appreciate this house, but to me, they're kind of a supporting role. You know, of course, they supported the Lannisters when it's convenient. They backstabbed the Lannisters when it's convenient for them. I don't really care about Highgarden, so, again, I'm sorry. I'm not sure if it's Tyrell or Martell. Let's just go with Tyrell for the time being and hope it's correct. Hopefully, you guys don't crucify me for being, you know, uncanonical here, for not knowing my Game of Thrones lore. Right, so in addition, Dorne is now at war with the Tullys as well. We'll have to see if Dorne is able to capture, I guess, the choke point city of Seaguard. My guess is probably not, but it remains to be seen whether or not they will be able to establish some sort of presence outside of the southern peninsula of Westeros. So let's go ahead and end the turn and kind of watch how this combat is evolving here between the Tullys and the Dornish, and the Tyrells and Renly. And I don't believe the Tyrells will be able to access Renly, as, again, the Tullys have a bit of a diplomatic choke point with all of their foreign territory here. Also of particular note, I believe Harrenhal is currently at war with somebody, or at least the Tullys are at war with somebody over here. I believe it's Harrenhal, although it won't let me actually see, considering I am not currently there. So let's go ahead and just take a double check over here. Right. I don't think there's any way of me knowing, but I do believe Harrenhal is currently at war with the Tullys, and Harrenhal is just absolutely decimating the Tullys as well. We'll have to see if Peter Baelish decides to take out his aggression on the Tullys, as he has a very large army that was basically trolled out from taking the city of Haystack Hall. Down here in the south, Dorne is just getting massively screwed up by Tully bombardments from the city of Seaguard. Tully is very tenaciously clinging on to their eastern Westeros territories over here in Haystack Hall and Seaguard. And of course, Peter Baelish declared war on Stannis, which doesn't make any sense considering he's surrounding the Tullys. And Stannis is also at war with the Tyrells. We'll have to see how this plays out. For those of you who do support Stannis, though, do keep in mind that Stannis has an incredibly defensive set of cities here that are completely blocked off by mountains and an island. So I don't really think there's any chance of Peter Baelish mounting an assault, but we'll see. Up here in the north, the long kind of forgotten and long neglected faction, Mance Rayder, is still at war with Castle Black. Basically just pillaging farms that are located on the tundra over here, north of Castle Black, north of the Night's Watch. I have no idea how they are able to farm over here in this territory of the, of the wildlings and the White Walkers, but, Castle Black will find a way, I guess. Again, this is civilization. It's not supposed to make sense. So far, Robb Stark has been pretty keen on holding on to his continental possessions. They're not really mounting an offensive on, the Greyjoy capital of Pike. So for now, Pike is reduced to basically a city-state for the time being. Let's go back to the south and watch as the war rages between the Tullys of Dorne and the Tyrells against Stannis Baratheon. So again, Peter Baelish has a very large army, but I don't really think he'll be able to utilize this against Stannis Baratheon, most unfortunately. And Harrenhal, of particular note, is taking quite a bit of damage from the Tullys, but the Tullys do not have a melee unit, and in Civilization, as I've said before, if you don't have a melee unit, you can't capture cities. I don't know why that's a thing. It's very stupid, but apparently if you're an archer, you can't just waltz on into a city and take the the government for yourself. Very, very silly. So we're going to see Harrenhal just destroy the Tully crossbowmen, when in actuality they should be able to capture it for themselves. So Stannis has made peace with one of these city-states, with Traitor Town, whichever one that is. This is Karth. This is Harrenhal, even though it's the twins. What is Traitor's Town? Lotusport, which is the Night's Watch. Lorath, I don't even know what city-state it is. Probably it's King's Landing, I'd imagine at this point. Yeah. So it is. King's Landing is Traitor Town. Stannis is no longer at war against King's Landing. He has decided to give up his claim towards a city that is currently being held by basically the shit stain, Joffrey Baratheon, who's of course a bastard. So anyways, over here in the north, Harrenhal, again, under siege, but so far being able to hold out due to the fact that the Tullys are basically defenseless. And over here in the east, Haystack Hall is taking some hits from the Tyrells. We'll have to see if this pays off for them. Or actually, might be taking some hits from the Dornish from the south. And again, the Dornish are just sending all of their men into this little shallow sea over here to get destroyed by Stannis' forces. And of particular note, Stannis has signed yet another peace that I did not notice earlier with Peter Baelish, giving Peter Baelish the city of Bronzegate. So Peter Baelish is basically expanding his domain very, very pragmatically throughout Westeros. Very, very large. In fact, it might be the biggest nation outside of the north, outside of Robb Stark. So definitely a nation to keep our eye on, Peter Baelish of the Vale. So again, it looks like Renly Baratheon's capital of Storm's End, of the Stormlands, is reduced to a city-state. We'll have to see how that plays out for him. But he has a lot of military, and he'll be able to defend himself against anybody who decides to, start some trouble over there in his region. And again, We're going to go and take a look at this war between Peter Baelish and Stannis Baratheon, the two factions over here, the light blue, the red. Again, I don't think Stannis Baratheon will have any problems basically keeping back and repelling Peter Baelish, but we'll have to see how this plays out for them. In other news, again, the Dornish are getting destroyed off of the coast of Seaguard. And over here in the north, looks like Balon Greyjoy is trying to take back the city of Lordsport with one unit of pikemen. And also of particular note, basically, Balon Greyjoy has once again decided to one-up Robb Stark and decided to place and colonize yet another city of Red Harbor, just to the west of Castle Curwen in the northwest of their previous territory of 10 Towers. Well, to see how long this city survives, I'm pretty sure Robb Stark is going to intercept it almost immediately with his large host of dire wolf packs and log swordsmen. We'll go ahead and take a look again here in a few turns. Going back to the south, Tullys have made peace with Karth, which I believe is Harrenhal. Let's go ahead and just double check really fast. Yep, they made peace with Harrenhal right before they were able to capture it, unfortunately for them. And let's just go and double check again on the diplomatic situation in terms of the wars that are currently going on. Again, Peter Baelish is at war with the Crown Lands. What the hell are those? Is that the Lannisters? I thought he was at war with Stannis. Oh, Westerlands. So the Crownlands is Dragonstone. I have no idea why they call that the Crownlands. It's a bit confusing. But anyways, the other two wars that are currently going on, I believe, are between Stannis Baratheon and Robb Stark and the Greyjoys. Let's just again double check really fast. I'm sorry to be so schizophrenic with the menus over here. Also, the Tullys are at war with Dorne, of course, which is completely inconsequential. Tyrells are also at war with the Tullys. Okay. Right, okay, so basically, we are going to want to watch what's happening over here in Ashmark, because the Lannisters have a very large host outside of the city of Ashmark as well. Ridley has declared war on Edmure. So Ridley has declared war again on the Tullys. It looks like Ridley is using his army to try to take back Haystack Hall once again. And the Tyrells are also at war with the Tullys, which I think I already mentioned. So again, I expect the Lannisters to jump in the conflict as well. Dorne has made peace with the Tullys as well. I don't think any possessions have changed hands, however. Excuse me. Right, so the Tullys are in a very, very bad place. They are being basically invaded by the Lannister host from the west and the north, and from the Tyrells from the south. We'll have to see if the Tullys survive, and they're also being under attack, before I forget, by Ridley Baratheon of the Stormlands. So, again, the Tully domain is about to get absolutely destroyed. Let's go ahead and zoom out a little bit here to show you guys more of a strategic, I guess, map view. So over here outside of Ashmark, we can already see the city of Ashmark is going to fall to Lannisters next turn, or it's going to fall to the Tyrells. We don't really know exactly sure. We're not exactly sure which one it will fall to first. And it looks like Balon Greyjoy made a huge mistake by colonizing the north. Robb Stark is going to invade with a huge host of his bannermen, probably including all of the men that are loyal to him. And in the north, again, Castle Black. Yeah, we don't really care about Castle Black. Let's go back to the south to see the, I guess, situation in the Riverlands. Let's go ahead and end the turn and see what happens. So it looks like the Tyrells go first, and then the Lannisters go afterwards. So the Lannisters might be able to snipe the city of Ashmark for themselves. We will have to see. No, it looks like the Tyrells will snipe the city of Ashmark for themselves next turn, which is unfortunate for the Lannisters. But if the Lannisters are able to take the capital of Riverrun, they'll be in a very good situation, as they'll be able to unite their northern territory, the peninsula of the Crag, with the rest of, I guess, the Westerlands. So again, let's go ahead and end the turn and see what happens. Ashmark, no doubt, falling to either the Tyrells or the Lannisters. We're about to see who it falls to. It fell to the Tyrells. Very predictable. Haystack Hall also falling to either the Tyrells or to the Ridley Baratheon. We're going to find out next turn, next episode. Not next episode, next turn. And it's crazy. A lot of drama going on over here. Tyrell's basically trolling everybody. Really, Baratheon's previous city of Haystack Hall that belonged just until recently to the Tullys has been sniped by the Tyrells. The Tyrells in an incredibly powerful situation, or rather powerful, I guess, powerful level. I completely forgot the word that I'm trying to use here. It's a bit late here in France. I have no idea what I'm trying to say, so let's just go ahead and continue into the next turn. And while we weren't looking, which is usually the case over here in the north, the city, the Balon Greyjoy city, Baelish, jeez, not even joking, I'm tired over here. Yeah, Red Harbor has been taken by Robb Stark. Robb Stark now controls almost the entirety of the north south of the wall, excluding some of these Mance Rayder exclaves like White Tree, Molestown, and Cresser's Keep along the east coast. And the very, very small kind of like Tyrell colony of Tumbleton in the very, I guess, south of the north, next to the Neck, next to the Twins, and the Walder Freys. So again, Tyrell's in a very, very powerful, I guess, position. That's the word I was looking for. They're in a powerful position. And the Tullys are on their way out. In fact, I'm going to continue this episode until the Tullys are kicked out. I think we got about another 5 minutes before this episode is over the 20-minute mark, which I'm trying to avoid so that I'm able to upload this video where it won't take a week to upload, so I can get this to you guys a little bit quicker. Again, the city of Seaguard, which is up until now in the control of the Tullys, is completely demilitarized. We'll have to see if Renly Baratheon is able to conquer the city for himself. Excuse me. And the capital city of the Tullys, Riverrun, is proving to be a bit more challenging to take than we might have expected. Of course, all of the tiles and all of the Tully bannermen, all of those, I guess, holdings of the Tullys are being overrun by Lannister and Tyrell troops. But the capital city itself is still under siege. Let's go ahead and double check on the situation between Stannis Baratheon and Peter Baelish. It looks like, again, that the war is completely inconclusive, with the with Stannis' possessions of Claw Isle, Sharp Point, and his capital of Dragonstone still firmly in the control of his men. Again, over here in Riverrun, the city is under siege again, but surprisingly, the Tullys are able to bombard their way out of a situation that could be a little bit worse. In fact, I am willing to bet that Renly will take the city of Seaguard, but the city of Riverrun, I think, will remain independent, because I imagine that Tullys might be able to pay their way out of might be able to pay their way to peace with both the Tyrells and the Lannisters. Of course, the Lannisters have lost most of their army here trying to take Riverrun, so I'd imagine they might sign peace pretty quickly. Tully strategically bought a crossbowmen, some mercenaries, to fend off the foreign invaders from taking their capital. But again, the Tully, I guess, Riverland Empire is seeing its decline. You know, very dark days for the Tullys. Unfortunate for all of those out there, all of my subscribers and viewers who really wanted to see the Tullys win. Well, I'm sorry. No spoilers, but my impression is that they are on their way out the front door and into the history books. But, as I have said previously, I believe that Riverrun itself might be secure for yet another few hundred years. The city of Seaguard, however, might not fare so well, as it is dropping to about 50% health. Of course, the Renly's forces are circling the city of Seaguard. Dorne is still building up an army down here in the south. And what's going on with Mance Rayder up in the north? Again, we've kind of neglected to talk about him very much. Again, he's still trying to take Castle Black one unit at a time. Very, very stupid of Mance. But, you know, again, the Night's Watch will presumably survive for quite a while if this particular type of pace continues. Very impressive empire up here by Robb Stark. A lot of military as well. So Robb has a pretty large military at his disposal. We'll have to see if he tries to get involved in a continental war to the south in the future. So again, the Tully capital of Riverrun is basically secure for the most part. And the Tullys have made peace with the Lannisters as well. And they weren't trolls. They didn't give the city of Seaguard and the peace deal to the Lannisters, which would have denied Renly once again of yet another city. But instead, they've just signed either a white peace or given some money to the Lannisters. And really, you kind of have to feel bad for the Lannisters at this point, because the Lannisters were not able to take any territory from that war. They should have taken the city of Ashmark, which belonged to them like a few hundred years ago. And they should have also taken the city of Riverrun, but they are not humans, so I guess maybe they didn't want to push the advantage as much as they could have. And over here, it looks like the Tyrells might have made peace with Harrenhal, or I guess in this case, it's the twins. But the war is still raging for Seaguard, and this will probably be the last turn before the end of this episode. I want to thank you guys very much for watching. It looks like really Baratheon has a chance here. Again, his empire is much reduced. He was unable to take the city of Haystack Hall. He's given the city of Bronzegate to Peter Baelish. But I have the impression that if there's a war that breaks out between Peter Baelish and really Baratheon, basically Baratheon can use Haystack Hall, diplomatic immunity, and kind of like shutting out the Vale attackers by use of the diplomacy in these mountains, and he can just basically take back the city of Bronzegate. Of course, even if he does this, he'll still be a 3-province minor nation. But don't give up hope for Renly Baratheon, but do very much give up hope for the Tullys. I do not see the Tullys recovering from this at all. They're very, very small military. Their entire land is in shatters. Look at all of these territories that are plundered. Again, guys, thank you so much for watching. Let's go ahead and go over quickly the demographic screen for you guys here. Surprisingly, in terms of land, the largest country now belongs to the Tyrells, who have surpassed the Lannisters. But in terms of population, Robb Stark's domain has the most populace. And in terms of manufactured goods, Peter Baelish has the world's largest economy. And in terms of approval, it looks like you can't go wrong in Dorne, where everybody seems to love Dorne of Dorne. So again, guys, thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for Part 8. It'll be out, I hope, soon. But again, my internet's really bad here. So at the latest, probably a week from now. At the earliest, maybe in like a few days. So again, stay tuned for the next episode. And I'll see you guys again on the next episode. Take care.